The Walking Dead has had several memorable characters throughout its 11-season run, though not all of them have been liked by fans. Fans have grown to hate some supporting characters from the series. In today's video, we've compiled a list of the 20 most hated characters from The Walking Dead. So let's dive right in. Starting off this list, we have Jadis. Jadis was most recognized for her role as the Scavengers leader. A few fans initially took to her. People eventually discovered her history and her true identity, Anne. But the reason she's made it to this list is because of her role in Rick leaving The Walking Dead. After the bridge explosion, she spared Rick's life but still brought him to a potentially dangerous location in The Walking Dead movies. Next up, it's Ed. Ed was one of the first real monsters on The Walking Dead. It's simple to despise a man who mistreats women, and when the victim is the adored Carol, he was the first person most fans wanted to see turned into a zombie. Plus, we've got to mention Father Gabriel. From the minute he made his debut on The Walking Dead, Father Gabriel was hated. He was a preacher who sacrificed the lives of everyone in his church to save his own. He tried to betray them as soon as he saw Negan. Although Father Gabriel has developed since then and has become a capable combatant, given all of his prior crimes, his death in the comics felt perfect. Moving on to our next hated character, it's Rosita. Once upon a time, Rosita was a beloved figure in The Walking Dead. She arrived with Eugene and Abraham and was tough as nails. It was encouraging to see a confident woman join the group, but when Abraham died, everything changed. She lost her self-confidence and turned into a liability for the group rather than a powerful lady. In the comics, she was pregnant when she was injured fighting the Whisperers and wound up with her head on a spike. Her untimely passing caused her admirers to weep. She lost that sensitivity on the TV show. Another hated character from the show is Eugene. Eugene wasn't a much-liked character from the start. He was the weak link in the trio consisting of Rosita, Abraham, and himself, so the tough Abraham felt compelled to defend him. He was even more despicable when it was discovered that he had made up information about a cure to get Abraham to defend him. Although Eugene has changed recently, his creation of the bullets that almost killed the survivors and his role in their abduction by the Commonwealth means that he's no better at surviving now than he ever was, and is a liability to his friends and supporters. Next up, we have Aiden Monroe. When Rick and his survivors arrived, Aiden Monroe was a resident of Alexandria. Aiden was a jerk who, along with his brother, never wanted these new survivors to come in. And while their suspicions that Rick and the gang intended to take over were true, these brothers went about it in the wrong way, so he was an easy target for fans' hatred. Not to mention there's Bob Stuckey. Bob Stuckey was a character who appeared later in the series. He was able to inform Terminus that he had been bitten and infected as the cannibals were munching on his leg, and that was a terrific moment. Although his passing was tragic, most of his followers were not on Team Bob. He was a burden, one of the worst Walking Dead characters, and his drinking issues placed everyone at risk. Another hated character among fans is Milton. Milton was not someone that fans liked. He was the scientist that was attempting to determine what the Rising Dead were actually about, but when he ultimately killed Andrea, he turned out to be a somewhat problematic character. Next on the list, we have Richard. Negan was dangerous, and even after he fled, the Saviors continued to annoy the survivors. Richard was the one character on the TV show who contributed to the increasing conflicts between the two factions. He believed that he ought to die as a martyr for the cause to defeat the Saviors. Even his attempt to become a martyr fell short, and Morgan had to execute Richard to put a halt to any further fatalities. Next, a character that fell from grace was Enid. Enid had a good start on the series, but with the death of her parents, she gradually declined. Fans couldn't welcome her into the gang since she repeatedly put cherished survivors in danger and changed into a love interest. She became one of the worst Walking Dead characters as a result. Up next, we've got Sam Anderson. Fans of The Walking Dead wanted Sam Anderson and the other numerous children that appeared on the program to disappear. His mother was Jessie, who briefly developed feelings for Rick Grimes. Regrettably, Carol intimidated Sam into keeping silent about her gun if he wanted to survive, which contributed to him being the child no one loved. After that, Sam entered a very dark place, became terrified of everything, and swiftly rose to become one of the most despised characters in The Walking Dead. Plus, a character that everyone loves to hate is Lori Grimes. In the first episode, when Rick Grimes came out of his coma, his main concern was locating his wife Lori and son Carl. Fans eagerly anticipated seeing him reunited with his family as he set off. Before Rick arrived and convinced Lori to alter her mind, he discovered them with his closest buddy Shane. After this though, Lori retreated to the typical nagging wife, never realizing that Rick was doing all in his power to protect everyone, including her and Carl, and was doing his hardest to keep everyone alive. Moving on to the next person on this list, Lizzie. The second child on our list is Lizzie, and she is a unique case. Carol was acting like a mother to Lizzie and her sister Mika, even though she had lost her own family. Even more so because she was the voice that tried to convince everyone that individuals were certainly dead when they were simply late returning. She got quite annoying as the episode went on. Her pessimistic view took a dramatic turn when she began to associate more with zombies than with actual people. She wanted the survivors to stop killing zombies and to demonstrate that not all zombies were wicked. She murdered her 10-year-old sister. To save fans from having to see her any longer, Carol ultimately took her to view the flowers and shot her in the head. Another character everyone loves to hate is Andrea. The messiest and most despised Walking Dead character in the TV series was Andrea. When people continued saving Andrea, it prolonged the agony viewers felt while watching her on the TV. Andrea always wanted to die. The suffering ultimately ended when she committed suicide while being still held captive by the governor. Moving on, we've got Spencer Monroe. The reason most people despised Spencer was that he was a coward who had everything handed to him. When Rick arrived and made life difficult for everyone, he detested the concept of having to work for someone. Eventually, Negan killed Spencer on the street because he had no time for him. Not to mention, there's Jared. Jared showed up in season 7 as a savior. He was the worst bully of the saviors and just wanted to agitate and damage others. Jared was unquestionably evil. After the conflict, Jared was captured, but unlike some prisoners who only wanted to survive, he kept pressing buttons and wouldn't stop, even while imprisoned. He was one of the most despised characters in The Walking Dead, so when Morgan eventually managed to imprison him in a room full of walkers, viewers were quite pleased with his death. Up next on this list is Nicholas. Fans of The Walking Dead hated Nicholas because he was a coward and pretty much useless. Even more cowardly than his friend, he was Spencer's right-hand man. This made it ridiculous that they were on scavenging teams. And if that's not bad enough, he was the reason for the death of Will and Noah. We can't have a list of hated characters without Simon. Simon was a fantastic villain, and unlike many other individuals on this list, fans of The Walking Dead enjoyed hating him. However, Simon thought he was excellent as the bad guy. He didn't display Negan's calm bad guy attitude. He was a jerk who made trouble and did what he had to succeed. The next character to make her way to this list is Beth Green. Beth Green was an unusual case. Her intense dislike from fans lasted for many years. She looked to be more of a bother than she was worth and had nothing intriguing or valuable to offer. Fans unexpectedly spoke up and resented the idea that Beth was dead when she passed away at the hospital, a moment that crushed Daryl. Because Daryl was one of the finest characters in The Walking Dead, fans first hated Beth but later came to adore her when she passed away. We're wrapping this list up with Gregory. Gregory was the one supporting figure that fans of The Walking Dead hated the most. His people worked hard and made the best lives they could while he resided in the largest, finest mansion on the hilltop and served as their leader. He became hostile the minute Rick and company arrived. He betrayed them to Negan because he was a spineless coward. Plus, he attempted to have Maggie murdered and was a cunning backstabber. So fans enjoyed it when he finally met his end. That's a wrap for this video. Which of these characters did you hate the most? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.